Richard Jemfi is head of international relations at the Scholarship Secretariat. Richard, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Oh, thank you.
What's the problem in Ukraine? Why can't you pay their school fees?
It is not deliberate that the Scholarship Secretariat ain't able to pay the fees, the tuitions of students. The war obviously caused a bit of tumultuous in terms of releasing funds to the embassy. Now, from our check, we had 13 beneficiary students who are under our care as Scholarship Secretariat. We understand and we know, we appreciate that we were owing the students in terms of stipends and tuition. And that is not fault of the Secretariat. The Secretariat is a vehicle. The ministry released funds to us, and then we dispatch the funds to the students. Now, after the war, or when the war happened, we had a meeting with the students because most of them obviously were displaced, almost all of them. But there were some of the institutions, they do have other partners in Hungary. So some of the students that managed to escape to Hungary, they informed us that they are still practicing or they are still going to school in Hungary. We held a meeting and the registrar was very emphatic that if you want to come to Ghana to come and continue your education, we are willing to cover your tuition. As I speak to you, one is in KNUST, one is in UDS, and one is one of, I think, University of Ghana, which we are sponsoring. 3 of them went to Barbados. So what happened is when we send money to cover tuition, it goes to an European embassy, either Bern or Switzerland or Czech Republic. Now, for the students who went to Barbados, Switzerland cannot pay their tuition. It has to go through the United States of America. Unfortunately, we had no money then. It's only last week that we received some funds, and we've been able to pay about 3 students who are still studying in Ukraine. Well, not exactly in Ukraine, but with the Ukraine institution. We've asked the students to provide documents that can prove to us that they are still in education. Because when we compiled the documents that the gentleman is talking about, one of their own came to us to tell us that most of the names in there are not going, the students are not in school. Some decided to go to Germany, some are working in Hungary. So we said that, okay, instead of making a blanket payment, which will come with its repercussions, can you students prove to us that you are still in school? And so if we are satisfied that you are in school and we can renew, mind you, the scholarship award needs to be renewed every year based on your performance. So if you are unable to give us these documents, the Scholarship Secretariat is not also able to renew the mandate.
Richard, just a quick question. How many students do you know who are still in Ukraine who are on your records? How many students do you have on your records as being students in Ukraine?
13.
13?
Yes.
Okay. The gentleman I'm speaking to, Sethofori, says there are 25.
So if I'm saying 13, it means that these are the 13 that we Scholarship Secretariat have named their scholarship awards. As I told you earlier, every year the students need to reapply.
Okay, that's fine. That's understood. So this 13, how many of them have you paid for so far?
So last week, as I said earlier, we verified 3 in Ukraine. We've paid. The other 3 in Barbados.
No, don't talk about other countries. Let's focus on you.
They are all Ukrainian students. That is where you are not.
Okay, so they are Ukrainian students who have been sent to Barbados and other universities. That's fine.
Okay. So the meeting was that if you can find a school whose tuition fee is at par with what we are paying currently, we can then consider you and give you the scholarship award.
No problem. So the question is that I'm interested in Ukraine because this gentleman says they are in Ukraine and they are 25. So I want to know those who are physically in a Ukraine university whom you have on your books. You said, I'll come to you, Seth. Seth, I'll come to you. I'll come to you in a bit. I just wanted to get this clarification. The 13, Richard, you've paid for 3. The outstanding 10, when will they get their payments?
So as I said, if they are able to send the documents to us, we are expecting funds hopefully next week. We can then apportion some to go and pay for them.
Okay, let me hear from the student who is in Ukraine now, and we'll just go in a bit, but let's just hear from him. Seth, you can respond in 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. I'm a bit surprised from what Sir Richard is saying. I have personally sent an email to him, and he told me when I finish, I can send you a screenshot or forward you his email response. He told me I should never send him an email again because he's not responsible for the student in Ukraine. I pleaded with him that my situation is critical. I can send you a screenshot or forward you his response. It's true that it's not all of us, the 25 that are currently still studying in Ukraine, but those that we had a critical issue, they only requested that we should provide evidence. They didn't ask for transcript or other things. They were specific with the kind of evidence they needed, and we provided. But those that they said they have paid are only people who are politically linked, and they have people who can speak for them.
Richard,
for some of us that are vulnerable.
Let's hear from Richard. Let's hear from Richard.
That is very disappointing to hear. It is false.
Which one is false? That he has sent you an email and you have told him not to?
No, I can't recollect. But there is no way I will say that I do not care about the students. I explained to students that I am not in charge of payment. I am not in charge of payment. So when you send me the document, I push it to the accounts department. They do their checks and they pay. I am not in charge of students' tuition. I am the only person at the Secretariat who you easily get my number and even provided my WhatsApp number. So when you are asking me, please sir, I beg you in the name of God, can you pay my tuition? I am explaining to students that I understand their plight. I appreciate it. I've studied in abroad before. I know the troubles and the trauma that comes with it.
So you're not just taking care of political party members and leaving the rest.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
All right, that's fine. Let's leave it here. We'll come back to this subject in the coming days. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Yes, you are always welcome. Please just give us ample time before you notice.
We'll do so. That's Richard James. He's head of international relations at the Scholarship Secretariat. Seth, we have to go now. Thank you. Do send the information that you have to us, and then we'll check with Richard.
I will forward them to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That's Seth Ofori. He's Seth Ofori Nyazu. He's a medical student in Ukraine.